So, Jamie, it's great to see you, and thank you so much for offering to do a little bit of coaching with me. So, I really appreciate that. So, how do we go about this?
Well, my usual approach is I say, so what do you want? What would you like to get some coaching on? And then you say something and then we take it from there.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I'm on Glasswing at the moment, which is one of your programs. So, I think what would be really helpful is one of the things that you talk about is about moving as a coach from the charging by the hour to a package model of
Mm.
working. Now, I've come across this before, but it's really opening my eyes as to what that might be. And I guess there's still a little bit of confusion for me around that, if I'm honest.
Well, now what are you confused about?
Well, I guess part of the learning curve is what is a package? Um, I notice also when it comes to charging, I have a sort of a real um, sort of flurry of nerves, and I think about clients. I think, oh, could they afford it? What will they say? So there's a couple of things going on for me there. One is, I guess, a bit practical. I'm kind of learning about this as I'm hearing other people talk about packages. So that's the learning thing. And then there's this thing about charging.
Yeah. Well, I'll make it easy for you. You already do packages. You charge someone for a package which gives them 1 hour of coaching, and you have a fee for that. Um, I typically do a package. My basic coaching package involves spending 3 days in a row with someone and then doing some follow-up calls with them. And for that, they pay a lot more than they would pay for an hour. But it's just, see, the thing I've found when someone's paying by the hour for something, like who do you pay by the hour in your life? Maybe your accountant, your lawyer, your plumber, an electrician. And when we're paying someone by the hour, we'll often try and minimize our exposure. And if we're paying each time we do it, we keep evaluating, am I still getting value? Am I still getting value? Well, what I find is that when I create a package for someone, and the package is typically oriented around some result that they want to get, then it's a the sales process itself is a little trickier because it's a much bigger investment decision. I mean, I don't know what you charge for an hour, but it's a bigger decision typically for someone to spend 10 or 20 or 30,000 pounds than it is to spend 100 or 200 or 300 pounds. But once they've decided to do it, or if they decide to do it, they're typically a lot more committed, and they're committed for the duration. So I'm guessing when you trained as a coach, you didn't go on a training course that charged you by the hour and you reevaluated each hour you spent whether you were going to do the next hour. Did you? You didn't?
No.
How come?
Say that again.
How come you didn't do it like that?
Well, I was buying a course and it had a sort of an endpoint. It was a period of time, and there was elements of the course that you turned up to, and bits that you agreed to do, and whether assignments or reading or coaching, and then by the end of the process, you had either achieved it and got the qualification, or you hadn't.
Yeah. So as I see it, what you bought when you went to coaching school was a delivery system to help you achieve a result.
Hmm. No, I get that.
And you didn't really, you weren't necessarily looking, okay, how many hours is it? I mean, you might have, but the math doesn't add up like that. And so that's, what is a package? It's just a way of it, as I see it anyway, a way of proposing something to a client that helps them achieve the result that matters to them, rather than buying buying your time by the hour. Because when we buy things by the hour, we're like, my guess is if you charge by the hour, you probably do a lot more selling than I do. Because if I'm going to work with someone for a year, I sell once and then we're done. Whereas if you're going to work with someone for a year, you maybe have to sell 12 or 20 or 30 or 40 times, because you get to the end of the session and then it's like, so would you like to book another appointment in? And it feels kind of uncomfortable and that sort of thing. Or maybe it doesn't, but I've seen that certainly with a lot of people. And I've seen it with people who are providing me with services. You know, when I go to a personal trainer or someone. Now, here's the interesting thing, Liz. My personal trainer doesn't do packages. I keep telling him, you should do packages. So we get to the end of my session. He's like, so would you like to book another session in? I'm like, I'll get back to you. So now he knows I need his help. He knows that I've got results I want to achieve. But the way he's structured his business means that I'm not committed in the way that I would be if I paid him all the money up front. So it's just a different way of working. Mm. So that's what I mean by packages. And you can organize them in whatever way makes sense to you. So has that cleared up the confusion about packages?
Yeah, and I guess the content of a package then, is that something that you create bespoke for a client on a client-to-client basis, or do you have a sort of a general feel for what that will actually look like?
It just depends. I typically, when I'm doing intake with a client, I want to go away and think about what would fit for them. But I have some kind of standard structures, like I'll do a 3-day intensive and then 12 follow-up sessions. That's a standard kind of thing. But you get to make it up. You get to make it up just like you made up charging by the hour.
And I guess the thing then that feels like a bit of a sticking point for me is what to charge, and actually saying that to the client.
Well, you get to make that bit up as well, but here's the interesting thing, Liz. See, I don't think the what is a package or how much to charge or anything, if that's the issue. I think it's the thing right at the beginning, the second thing you said is feeling nervous about it.
Yeah.
And tell me about that.
Well, what it feels like is it feels like I'm kind of concerned that they think I'm ripping them off. That kind of comes to mind. That they, you know, that I build up a nice relationship with somebody and a bit of rapport, and then they'll think, blimey, she charges that? Oh my goodness. So there's a kind of a fear of rejection in there too. So I think that kind of goes on.
Well, are you planning to rip anyone off?
No.
Well, then, so you don't have to worry about that one. But here's the thing. So you know that uncomfortable feeling, where does it seem to you like that's coming from?
It feels like it's coming from, I think it really feels like it's coming from what they might think about me.
Yeah, so these are imaginary clients in the future?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what do you make of the fact that you're responding in what looks like a very real way to something that's completely made up? Like it's not possible for feelings to be transmitted from the future back into the present.
You see, on one level that feels really ridiculous, and on another level it just feels like it's real.
Well, I know it may feel like it's real,
Mm.
but that doesn't mean it is real.
And as I'm sort of sitting here, I've got a whole load of things spinning. About being professional. Um, I guess the biggest thing that I have is this kind of frustration at myself, because I kind of know on one level it's not true. I know I'm making it up. I know that, and 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 yet it still has that impact.
Well, I'm not sure that you know you're making it up, but let's do a test. Let's find out. So make something up, like make up that uh, you can feel things being beamed at you by Martians from outer space. Can you make that up? Sure, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know you're making that up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm guessing that the idea that your feelings are coming from imaginary clients in the future doesn't feel as made up, but right? So, so I think that there's a really a level on which, like, you don't know that you're making it up, and that's like that's honest. If you don't know, like, if you knew that you were making it up, like my guess is, now that I've suggested the idea of Martians in outer space, my guess is that that's not really causing you any trouble, right? Because you know that's made up.
Yeah.
The issue isn't that you know this other thing's made up, but. The issue is you don't know it's made up.
Yeah.
Well, that's an important distinction. The distinction between knowing something and not knowing something, that one's crucial. That's crucial. So I think it would be more helpful for you to like there's an honesty and a humility and a coming to terms when you say, you know what, I guess I don't know that it's made up. That's like, it's like, okay, well, that's okay. Like, through your whole life, you've had stuff that you knew and stuff that you didn't know. And if you realize that you don't know something, you can do something about it. You can, that creates an opportunity for learning, an opportunity for insight, an opportunity to see something new.
I like that. I feel a sort of I think the only way I can describe it is a sort of a softening of something that
Yeah.
I sort of felt before.
I really like it too, Liz. I feel closer to you
Yeah.
now than I did, 5 minutes ago or whatever. We all have times when we innocently get tricked by our own perception. And that's what our clients are up against as well. That's what we're all up against. That's the human experience. And it's living and dynamic and real time. It's And this is, you know, my friend and mentor and colleague Keith Blevins said, he said, this is the greatest deception of all time. You know, this illusion has been bedeviling humanity forever, like throughout history. So we're very, very fortunate to live at a time when we can be seeing through it. And it's not done and dusted. It's not like, oh, I know I'm making it up. So, no, I mean, it really is. There are times when we see it, there are times when we don't, like when we genuinely miss it. And that's something worth getting used to, because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again for me. It's going to happen again for me.
And that really, you know, what I get there as you're saying it is like, oh my God, there's so much that on one level I say, oh, I know, I'm making it up, and yet I don't know, because it's it just feels real at some level.
I know, but that, you know, that softening,
Mm.
that right there,
Mm.
that's the feeling of insight.
Yeah.
That's the feeling of connection. That's the feeling of, like, for you to go from, I know I'm making it up, to that softening, you're seeing something, tuning into something, falling into something that you didn't see before.
Yeah,
That's new.
and I get it. It's bigger than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's not about clients, and it's like the softening is on a bigger plane, if you know what I mean. It's like I can see it.
Oh, that's
Mm.
beautiful.
Mm. It sort of takes the effort out of it as well.
Yeah, it does, doesn't
Mm.
it?
Mm.
So, you know, when I'm working with clients or when I'm teaching coaches, the place I always start is what I call clarity of connection. Because this feeling of connection, this is what I kind of use as my route finder. This is the guide. This is how I know if we're getting somewhere. And you know what what I heard Sid Banks say was that if you touch that place, if you touch that place of insight, if you fall out of your contaminated thinking and into the present, if you fall into the present, which is kind of what's happened for us on this call, he said it has to show up in your life. It has to bring beauty into your life. And so that's where I'm aiming when I'm with clients. I want to bring them into alignment with reality. Because
Mm.
reality, what we're built for reality. We discover when we get back to reality, we do great.
Mm.
It's when we're out of touch with reality, when we're caught up in the outside in misunderstanding, that's when we struggle. You come back to reality, you do just fine with.
And I feel really moved, actually. Yeah, I feel like there's sort of like a warming inside.
Mm.
Mm.
I can feel it from here, which may
Mm.
sound strange to hear someone say over Skype, but now what I would love for you is once we finish this call, would
Mm.
you be able to take some time just for yourself, like not doing email or anything like that, just some time just for you, just whatever you enjoy doing or whatever you feel drawn to, whether it's going for a walk, just having some time to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to take the dog out.
Nice. What's your dog's name? What's your dog's name?
He's called Buzz. Buzz
Oh, I like it.
Lightyear.
What kind of dog is Buzz?
He's a Labradoodle, and he's been very good.
Oh, very good.
He's sat here
Has he
snoozing.
been sitting there?
No, he snuck in.
All
He
the
snuck
time?
in 10 minutes ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Thanks.